I'm going to give you a framework for thinking about how to run the entire first day of school. My name is Roxana Eldon, and I run the Maintain and Stay Sane program for teachers. I've been working with teachers for over 20 years to help them make the job more manageable. And this is part 3 of the video version of my new teacher orientation speech. The framework for thinking about the first day of school is this. Imagine it like an airport. Your students are the passengers coming into the airport, and the entire airport is staffed by you. So take a moment to visualize walking into an airport. Your first stop is going to be airport security. And one thing about airport security, they're really not known for being friendly. Hopefully they're polite, but they're not overly friendly. And the reason for that is that their main job is not to make people like them. Another thing about airport security is they repeat themselves a lot. That's because they have a job where they need a large number of people to do the same thing at the same time and take their instructions seriously, kind of like a teacher on the first day of school. Airport security does not have time to honor everyone's unique desires, so you don't get to decide how big your carry-on bag is going to be, and you might get a little annoyed by being told to throw out your toothpaste because it's too many ounces. In fact, you may even wonder how dangerous a large toothpaste is going to be. But in the end, you just listen and follow instructions because deep down, you want airport security to be able to do their job. And the same goes for your students. They want you to be able to do your job and keep order in the classroom so that you can teach them something. This goes for the vast majority of your students, and the more that you keep that in mind, the more confidence you'll have in acting like an authority figure. When the kids are walking in, you don't have to have individual conversations with each of them, not because you won't ever do this, but because this does not fit your job description at this part of the process. Right now, you are airport security, and your job is to set a tone of safety and order. You want to give a sense that there's a process and things are under control. So the first thing you want to say to each kid is something like, "Good morning, your seat is here, your first assignment is here." And if you're wondering how to assign seats and what to give for that first assignment, you will find all of that in my Sanity Saving School Year Starter Kit, which is a free email series that you can sign up for at the link in the description below this video. As the kids enter the room, you want them to get started on work immediately without needing much help, and you want them to stay busy for a while. So you're going to have an easy but somewhat time-consuming assignment for them to grab as they walk into the room. Also, you're going to have spare pencils and extra paper ready because you don't want anything to slow this process down. That's because just like at an airport, you're going to have a big crowd coming in all at once, and then you'll have a few people straggling in late. If you have to repeat your instructions, that's fine. Just do it as calmly and straightforwardly as you did the first time, because your only job right now is to get everyone where they need to go in an orderly way. That's it. Once the kids are in the room and in their seats and doing what they're supposed to do, your job as airport security is over. Whew. At that point, you become the flight attendant, which means you have a checklist of things that you need to handle before takeoff. I'm not going to tell you exactly what those things are because I actually don't know what those things are. Those will depend on your school and your district, but you will know what those things are. Because at some point between now and the first day of school, you will attend a meeting at your school and they will give you a list of administrative tasks that you need to handle on the first day. When you get that list, you want to make sure you know how to do everything on that list so you're not figuring it out on the spot. You want those in your lesson plan, and you also want to plan what your students will be doing in a structured and quiet way while you are handling the items on that list. The other thing that a flight attendant is in charge of is making people feel welcome while also making sure that the next set of instructions is clear. So one of your first jobs as flight attendant is to introduce yourself, welcome your students with a short prepared speech, and then make sure everyone is still securely fastened into their seats and in an upright position and working on the next thing that they can do independently. That may be a new assignment or it may be a continuation of the earlier activity. Just like on a real airplane, most of this should go smoothly. But you also need a plan in place just in case something doesn't go smoothly. That means having some sense of how to follow through if students don't follow your instructions. And that would be a great thing to ask your mentor teacher. In fact, I have a list of questions you may want to ask your mentor teacher, and that is included in the Sanity Savings School Year Starter Kit. You can find the link to that in the description underneath this video, as well as in the pinned comments. Now remember, you're still the flight attendant, and your main job as flight attendant is to prepare for takeoff, which is the lesson that you are going to teach today. Your lesson plan should be a nice bite-sized piece of material so that the kids will feel like they learned something on day one. Your lesson will be much longer if you're teaching elementary school and you have the kids with you all day, and a lot shorter if you're in high school where you're doing this over and over again every period. But either way, once you begin that lesson, you become the pilot. And that is just as exciting and just as scary as it sounds. There are a few things that you can do to make it less scary, and we will talk about those in the next section of this speech, which you'll see in the next video. See you there.